Beast Wars episode 24, Before the Storm. Now this episode actually leads into the two-part, I believe it's going to be the two-part finale for the very first season, because these are actually the last 3 episodes on the final disc. So this is basically the episode before the two-part season finale, which I didn't realize as I was going through it. But the next episode actually does like a little recap, so it's like, oh, if it's this important, then I decided not to watch the next episode. But this is a really cool one because they officially decided to bring things back around, and they're going to talk about who these alien creatures are. And so we have the start of this episode, Megatron, basically he sees a mountain just glowing, like it's just glowing blue. So of course he sends that back to the Maximals. The Predacons also find out about it, and Megatron sends Inferno in to get this golden disc. Now, the golden disc is really important to the series because that's what the Maximals were trying to get in the beginning of the series. Like, that's how everything started, and that's how they ended up getting sent back in time, was because of a golden disc. So there's a second golden disc that Inferno gets. He takes it to Megatron. Megatron starts to scan it, and he's going through some information, and a couple of little things are going on in the background. So after he gets this golden disc, he decides to contact Optimus and say, hey, this is, I've got some more important things than you guys, so let's have a truce. So they create a truce between the Maximals and the Predacons. And of course, if Megatron is deciding, let's have a truce because I'm doing something more important than you guys, something's up. So Optimus decides he wants to do a little mission and send someone in to try to get this information. So they do like a fake mission where Air Razor's trying to take Rat Trap in, and they try to trick him and stuff, and Megatron of course finds everything out, and he's like, hey, you leave and honor the truce, I'll get rid of the automated defenses, but in order to honor the truce, I'd like it if you left. And also, because they, it was like, it was all a part of the plan, but it seemed like Rat Trap was going to stay. It's like, and please take the vermin with you. So they get busted and they fail, and they go back to Optimus, and that turns out the whole filling part of the mission was actually a part of the mission, and Megatron sneaks into the base, and he finds his way to a little, like a little circuit board, and he gets the information about this golden disc and exactly what it's supposed to be. So they go through all this, and then they have the weirdest little battle at the end of this episode because somehow they're keeping the truce, but at the same time they clearly aren't. Like, it made no sense to me. I thought this was kind of stupid, to be totally honest. But the Predacons actually find out that Megatron is in the base, so he takes off. They're chasing after him, and the whole thing is like, they can fight, but they can't use guns because that would dishonor the truce. But obviously what they're trying to do is chase him down and either keep him prisoner or just take the information back from him. But because they're the Predacons, in my head it was like, oh, they're just going to keep him prisoner. So Megatron is taken off, and he really, he shoots up like a flare. So the rest of the Maximals are there. It's like, all right, we'll get him out, but we have to do it peacefully. We can't, use weapons because that would dishonor the truce. And I was like, this makes no sense whatsoever to me because they're clearly like going to be tackling, like if they actually come in contact, they're going to be like tackling each other. So it just made no sense to me. I'm like, they're chasing him down because he snuck into the base. Clearly you guys aren't really doing this truce, but it's like, don't use any weapons or that'll break the truce. So, Dinobot he sets up like this fake trap, and Tarantulas and Black Arachnia end up behind him. So he acts like he doesn't know they're there. And they see that it's an obvious trap on the ground, so they jump over it. But the actual trap was like this giant boulder on like a couple of rocks, and the rocks fall, and then this giant boulder crushes them. And it's like, he just crushed them. That's totally not, that's like, how in the world does that not dishonor a truce if you just crush 2 people? So that was one of the things. Everything else, I guess, was kind of peaceful because they had this thing with Pterosaur where he was chasing Megatron, and he jumps over like this metal sheet, and Rhinox and Cheetor are like lifted up, and he flies straight into it, and he's like, his beak gets stuck in the metal. So I was like, alright, that's technically not them fighting him or anything. And then they have a little thing where Rat Trap tries to taunt him like a bull, and Pterosaur's running at him, and he moves like the I guess the little curtain, and Rhinox is right there, like his butt's just right there, and so Pterosaur like runs into him, and then Rhinox just sits down because he's Rhinox and he's huge. So I was like, all right, those two parts technically peaceful, but Dinobot definitely just crushed two people. So don't see how they're doing any of this true stuff. Anyway, it didn't seem like it made any sense. I was like, how is this? Like the whole thing was like Optimus is like, as a Maximal, I have to give peace a chance. And I'm like, you're still fighting. How is this? What's the difference between not using your weapons and using your weapons? It's just long range. That's really the only difference. But they were chasing each other, and they were, doing random things to like hurt each other. So it was really weird. I don't know if that was some weird censor thing happening, back then when they had to do this episode, like, oh, it's too violent, because they do shoot each other like crazy. Even though they're all robots, it shouldn't have mattered. But I don't know. But they go through all this stuff, and then they escape this battle, and so everyone's together, all the Maximals are together, and the Predacons are together. And Tigertron tells them, like, this golden disc had a message on it, and it said that basically they're coming. The aliens that created these structures are now coming to Earth, and they don't seem too happy. So I'm very excited to get into these last two episodes. Megatron had a bunch of little stuff going on too. Like I mentioned, there were things going on behind the scenes. Tarantulas had his own little thing going on in this episode where I believe he was trying to get a warp drive, pretty much, so that he could, I guess, use it to make another ship. They didn't specifically say anything about him having another ship ready, but he got some sort of drive. So Megatron knew that this was happening, and he's like, okay, well, I'll just send Black Arachnia to deal with him. And he's like, I'll let him kind of play his thing, but not alone. So he sent Black Arachnia, probably assuming that she'll at least try to join him a little bit. So they didn't talk too much about that, but it was there. So I'm assuming that's going to be showing up in the next episode, if not the next two episodes, depending on how far he even gets with, whatever it is he's trying to do exactly. But, Megatron was doing all this little stuff, and he mentions he had a few rewrites of his own, and I don't know if he actually rewrote content on the disc, which I mean, maybe that would be possible, because they were able to decipher it, so maybe he could rewrite what was on there, or at least what was logged, I guess, and to make it seem that way. So I'm not 100% sure if the aliens are really coming, or if that was just somehow a part of his plan, maybe to freak them out, or something else. I'm not 100% sure, but this episode, I didn't realize it, like I said, going into it, that it was the episode before the two-part finale. So it's like the calm before, and these next two episodes are going to be the storm, and I'm excited to see what we get. So I'm looking forward to getting into this finale. Of course, I won't watch both parts. I don't know. I might start doing that. I'm not 100% sure. I might start doing it as one full thing, but I'll probably still split it up, even though it's clearly like it's the season finale. Season finales are typically, here's just the whole thing, part one and part two. They just have to split it up. But I'll probably still review it as part one and part two separately, since I already did it for the trigger as well. But I am excited to get into this. I'm definitely looking forward to it. But this was a really good episode leading into the two-part finale. It was very cool. Like the action. At least in the beginning. I mean, it was kind of silly action, and them not doing fighting did kind of annoy me, where it's like, oh, we can't dishonor the truce, but they're clearly fighting each other. That kind of annoyed me a little bit, and it was just like, no weapons would dishonor the truce. So it was just a little weird to me, but I mean, both sides did it too, because Megatron did it even when they were in the base, like, oh, Pterosaur, don't use your gun to get Tigatron, because that would dishonor the truce. And it was the same thing. As soon as he said that, I was like, well, they're still chasing him down to, like, beat him up, or I guess they would be like, oh, we're not going to hurt you. I mean, like I said, it was part of the truce. They probably would have done that and be like, oh, we're not going to hurt you. We'll just, take the information back. And if they couldn't, probably just keep him prisoner, which would technically not be violent, so they'd probably still say, like, oh, that's a part of the truce a little bit. So, I don't know. But either way, going into the finale, I'm really excited for it. Definitely a fun episode. Of course, if you guys have any comments about this episode or Transformers in general, please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.